Good morning, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, honorable colleagues. Good morning, listening audience. Mr. Speaker, independence has long been enshrined in the Progressive Labour Party's constitution and is repeatedly referenced by this government, as recently as the last sitting of this honorable house and in this honorable house. So it's clear that independence is in front of mind for this government. Yet it was excluded from the 2025 election platform, and the public has yet to see any roadmap, costings, or consultation. So I asked the Honorable Premier, what is this government's actual plan to take Bermuda independent, including on what democratic mandate does it claim to act?
Premier.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I wasn't expecting that question today. I was expecting something else. I know the Honorable Member was... What he said? Okay, that's fine. I know that the Honorable Member was not in the House of Assembly last week during the motion to adjourn, but we had a discussion that was based around matters that were related to the comments from the Honorable Member for constituency, the learned member from constituency number 20, speaking about the extension of status grants. And my comment there was to remind everyone of the long-standing position of the Bermuda Progressive Labour Party, which I inherited as leader, which you would be well familiar with, that the Bermuda Progressive Labour Party's policy is against the grant of status until Bermuda is able to confer citizenship as a sovereign nation. That was the position that was laid out. Insofar as matters related to transitions to independence, sovereignty, as I call it, there are no current plans for that. You would know that, Honorable Opposition Leader. But we're happy to have that conversation discussion. And if the opposition wants to engage, if they actually believe that the issue is so important of the extension of status rights of PRCs, I said let's have a broader discussion and conversation on this particular issue. If that is something that you feel is important, then let's have that discussion.
Supplementary or second question?
Supplementary.
Go ahead.
Maybe the Honorable Premier can clarify. So it's crucial to the Constitution, to his party's Constitution, to proceed on independence or sovereignty, as he says. He mentions it frequently enough that it's a fallback position, and yet the Honorable Premier has no plan regarding sovereignty in Bermuda.
Let's see more of a statement than a question, Mr. Speaker. But let me...
Happy to clarify the question.
Yeah, you can put a question piece on there.
Yes. Can the Honorable Premier please confirm that he has no plan?
He's getting a little better, Mr. Speaker. He's getting a little better. So, don't worry, you are welcome. Here's the thing, Mr. Speaker. The Honorable Opposition Leader made an assumption getting up from the conversation. And this is nice. It's a little bit political cutting for us. He's wearing a red tie. He's getting into it. But the reality is, Mr. Speaker, is that this government will state what it plans on doing in election manifestos or throne speeches. And I know the Honorable Member has not heard any mention of sovereignty in throne speeches and or election manifestos. Yes, it has been the long-standing view of the Bermuda Progressive Labour Party, but if you would like me to quote from the Constitution, I'll do my best as memory. It says to make sure that we put in place the preconditions for Bermuda to take its place as a sovereign state or an independent country. And that means that you need to continue to develop, that means that you need to continue to educate, and that means that you need to continue to expand our global reach, which, Mr. Speaker, is precisely what it is that we're doing. So I understand the line of questioning where it's come from. I understand that this is a big issue for the opposition, and I'm happy that they feel like engaging on this particular matter. Oh, we hear all of it. But here's the point, Mr. Speaker. And the point is the statement I made at the last sitting of the House is the statement of Progressive Labour Party policy. And if the honorable members wish to engage on the issue of the expansion of status to PRC holders, they must do so recognizing our particular position and happy to engage in that conversation. If they're not, then we know what they are. They haven't changed. They are just there to go ahead and put forward the number one thing of, what is it? Status for PRC holders.
Supplementary?
Absolutely. Second sub, please, Mr. Speaker. I believe that significant constitutional change is in the interest of all Bermudians, not just those in the opposition. And most especially, given the Premier has admitted that he has no plan, then can he at least commit to publishing a white paper and holding a binding public referendum before any further steps are taken towards independence?
Mr. Speaker, I'm not entirely certain where this straw man that he's constructed has come from. Let's be very clear. If we were ever to make that step, we would go through all those processes and have a full debate in this House. But he's just now, making things up.
Second question.
Second question, Mr. Speaker. Thank you. Yes, we're making things up in the form of questions. That's what questions are. Mr. Speaker, this government has acknowledged that Bermuda's population is too low to sustain economic growth and quality of public services. Yet, despite publishing reports on immigration and aging, there has been no meaningful strategy or measurable policy outcomes or shift in public opinion. I asked the Honorable Premier, what specifically has this government done to reverse Bermuda's population decline, and can the Premier point to a single tangible success?
Mr. Speaker, on the issue when it comes to population, it's almost like I feel like we're discussing motion to adjourn all the way. So last week, but let's be clear. The opposition's position is the granting of status to PRC holders will expand the population. That, Mr. Speaker, is a falsehood, which we have stated on numerous occasions. On the matter, Mr. Speaker, I will wait until they want to hear it.
I hear you. Go ahead. Come on. You can talk to me. They'll lose out on not getting the answer. You can talk to me.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Because if they ask the question, I thought they want to hear the answer.
No, but I'll take the answer. Come on.
I'm going to go, Mr. Speaker, but there's too much chirping over there for me to focus. I want them to hear what I'm saying. Because I've said it many times, and it seems that they do not get it. The way to increase the population of persons that are living in Bermuda is to increase the number of jobs that are available in Bermuda. You cannot just bring 4,000 people, drop them on Front Street, and say we've increased our population. Those persons don't have anywhere to work. On measures that are related to tangible solutions, Mr. Speaker, tangible progress of which we have made, the Honorable Minister for the Economy and Labor has published his particular plan. We have implemented, key point, immigration reform on mixed status families, etc., to ensure that persons can stay and do not have to leave. Key point. In addition to that, Mr. Speaker, we talk about matters related to economic investment certificates, which have brought more persons and investors here on island. In addition to the expansion, as we have laid out, for PRC rights to ensure that persons do not leave, can remain, and can invest, Mr. Speaker. Those are tangible matters. But the other tangible matter, Mr. Speaker, is that we continue to attract jobs and investment to this country. The reason why there is the highest number of Bermudians in person employed in international business is due to the sound management of this government. The fact that we are now seeing a hotel that is ready to open, that is going to add additional jobs into this economy, is something else that we're doing, Mr. Speaker. We see construction projects that are happening throughout this country, and we see continued investment. The way to increase the working population, Mr. Speaker, key point, working population, is to increase the number of jobs in the economy, and that, Mr. Speaker, is what we are delivering on.
Supplementary or third question?
Supplementary, please, Mr. Speaker. I thank the Honorable Premier for reiterating time and time again the same policies that took place years ago, and he's taken plenty of credit for them. Why don't you show us how much the population is going up based on those policies?
Happy to publish the statements that are available, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Second sub or third question?
Second sub, please, Mr. Speaker. Given that the government's own commission study on immigration found that Bermudians are leaving due to high living costs, poor governance, limited career opportunities, and deteriorating quality of life, and these are all under the Premier's remit, does the Premier at least accept that his government's failure to address these conditions is directly driving Bermudians away?
I do not.
Select your third question.
Third question, please, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the Premier just told this Honorable House that the government is pursuing full membership in CARICOM and that CARICOM Secretariat will shortly provide Bermuda with the legal, financial, and treaty considerations for doing so. Yet, Bermudians remain unconvinced. I asked the Honorable Minister, will the government commit to presenting those CARICOM membership terms to the public and to this Honorable House before entering any formal negotiation, thereby guaranteeing that no final decision will be taken without a full public vote and parliamentary approval?
Mr. Speaker, what I can state is that we will get the draft membership agreement. It is certainly something that we'll share to this Honorable House, and it will be certainly something that we can vote on in this Honorable House.
Thank you. Supplementary?
Thank you.
Number one.
Yes, first supplemental. Actually, it's a point of clarification, Mr. Speaker, or a point of order. I asked about a about a referendum or public vote.
Just put it in a supplementary question.
It was in the first question. Yes, it was. I have it right here. Taken without a full public vote or parliamentary approval. Sorry, Mr. Speaker.
You can restate it because you're there at the point of order on questions. You can restate it.
No, it's not a supplementary, Mr. Premier. And that no final decision will be made without a full public vote and parliamentary approval.
Yeah, answer.
The point that I believe the Premier said parliamentary approval. He did not say a public vote.
You want him to respond now?
I want him to answer the question, Mr. Speaker. Is without full public vote. Full public vote. It's English, right? I'm speaking English. Okay.
You're taking your time. Ask for supplementary.
All right. Put your supplementary.
I'll put the supplementary. I know that he didn't get to that point, Mr. Speaker. So my supplementary is, will the Premier reference forthcoming information coming on financial matters? Can he confirm whether that will include any potential financial contributions, shared liabilities, or obligations under CARICOM's collective measurements? And will that data be tabled in this House for scrutiny? I can repeat the question for clarity.
No, you're fine.
Absolutely, Mr. Speaker. That's what full public consultation is.
Thank you. You have a second sub?
Yes, second sub. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I'm pleased to hear the Premier is committing to all of these data points, which we will ensure that he actually does. Mr. Speaker, concerns around freedom of movement, immigration control, and treaty obligations have not been formally addressed. Will the Premier confirm that Bermuda will retain sovereign control over immigration policy, and will any proposed exemptions or opt-outs from CARICOM protocols be made public before negotiations advance?
Mr. Speaker, Bermuda, as all CARICOM countries, remain sovereign when it comes to matters related to immigration. So the answer to the question is yes. And will we publish and discuss all these matters? The answer is yes. That is what full public consultation is. But until we receive the items, then we cannot start that consultation. So I understand that the honorable member is very excited because he wants to make sure that we deepen our relationships with our Caribbean partners. And I can assure the honorable member that we will share the information so that we can have that full public discussion in this honorable place.
Thank you. Opposition Leader, you've had your quota of questions for this morning. The next question is from MP Smith, Linda Smith.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker, and good morning, Honorable Premier. My question is around Southlands and what consideration and data has been taken into consideration in guiding the government's recent planning application for the development of Southlands Park amenities, including a zipline facility on the north side, a cafe, parking area for cars, cycles, minibuses, and taxis, public restrooms, and beach access improvements on the south side.
Mr. Speaker, the planning process allows us to examine these things. We believe that it is important to develop amenities in certain places as we want to make sure that we have more economic activity in this country. I think the opposition had just asked about what are we doing to increase the working population. And the way to increase the working population is to make sure that tourists and visitors, as we're expecting more, have more activities and different things to do. Anything will be done in an environmentally responsible way. And we look forward to public consultation on this, as it is with any planning application, for these particular matters to advance.
Thank you. Supplementary?
Yes, I do. Are there any arrangements or have there been any discussions with a cruise line or cruise lines for the use of Southlands Beach and the new facilities that are being proposed in those planning applications?
Not to my knowledge, Mr. Speaker, but I'm happy to ask the honourable member to speak to the minister responsible to ask that question, but not to my knowledge.
Second sub.
Yes, I do. According to the information contained in one of the two applications, a key offering of the proposal is a public-private partnership for the development of the zipline facility. What is the cost to the taxpayer for these planned amenities, the zipline, the restaurant, and the beach improvements, please?
Well, Mr. Speaker, I have not been made aware of any government financing that is going towards this particular matter. But as I said, the honourable member is asking very specific questions, something that is not particularly under my remit, the Premier of the country. So I would encourage her to speak to the Minister responsible for Public Works and or the Minister responsible for Tourism. I think maybe we'll have a tourism investment order going on it, but I will endeavor to make sure that she gets information. If she places those questions to the ministers, I'm sure the ministers will answer. But I do not know of any budgetary allocation requests as me as Minister of Finance to go forward and support these particular matters.
Thank you. That's your quota this morning. Thank you.
Thank
the
you.
next member who has a question this morning is the government whip. Government whip.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker and colleagues. Mr. Speaker, the budget spoke a lot about the investment this government is making in vital initiatives. I was particularly happy to hear about the new support for community clubs. Could the Honourable Premier advise how the government will support our community and sporting clubs in this year's budget? Thank you.
Premier.
Mr. Speaker, I am happy to answer the honourable member, and I thank the honourable member for his question. In this year's budget, Mr. Speaker, the government has allocated $1 million to support community and sports clubs with capital development grants to help enhance and improve their infrastructure. What I would like to clarify one point, that this is not new support. The government has done this before. We awarded over $1 million in capital development grants to 23 local community clubs to assist with facility upgrades between September 2020 and March 2022. This will be a new round of those community development grants, which of course are part of this year's fiscal year with the new budget coming into place on July 1st. Mr. Speaker, they are fully funded this budget, and the government looks forward to continuing to support our local community and sporting clubs.
Do you have a supplementary?
Yes, Mr. Speaker. Thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, I do thank the Honourable Premier for his response, and I understand it. I have a community club in my constituency. How may they access this support?
Premier.
Well, Mr. Speaker, there is news today, and I hope that the opposition and the Royal Gazette are listening. I am pleased to advise this Honourable House that in keeping with the government's commitment to digital transformation, the government has now launched a new online application form for capital development grants in the Confiscated Assets Fund. The form is now live on forms.gov.bm. You can go on forms.gov.bm right now, and you can click it. I know you did. And Mr. Speaker, to ensure that our local community clubs are informed of this particular item through the Ministry of Tourism and Transport, Culture and Sport, we will be sending out information to these sporting clubs, inviting them to submit applications between July 14th and August 14th. Awards will be assessed and awarded in September 2025, and all the information of the matters that need to be submitted can be found online. Again, Mr. Speaker, forms.gov.bm. Click the link for the Confiscated Assets Fund and Capital Development Grants.
Thank you. Do you have a second sub?
No, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank you for the opportunity, though.
The next question this morning is from MP Talker. MP Talker.
Good morning, Mr. Speaker. Good morning, colleagues. My question is, I'd like to know what practical steps the government is taking to ensure that the merger of Argus and BF&M don't lead to unsustained premium increases, reduced access to care, and greater health care, greater disparity in health care for Bermudians.
Mr. Speaker, I thank the honourable member for her question. I know that the Minister of Health gave a statement on this and a response to the questions of which the honourable member has asked. But I think that it's important to note matters that healthcare and private sector healthcare is not regulated in that fashion. So we cannot regulate the premiums of private healthcare. What the government has done, Mr. Speaker, is to advance matters that are related to universal healthcare to ensure that there is a broader base of healthcare provision and coverage that does exist. I would also point to the honourable member insofar as the pledge in the throne speech in 2024 to educate the honourable member that Bermuda currently has no rules, laws, or regulations governing the mergers of private sector companies. It is something that we had placed inside of our election manifesto. It is something that was inside of our throne speech. It is something the Minister of Home Affairs is working on insofar as making sure that there is fair competition inside of our domestic market. So until those particular matters come into force, there is limited matters what the government can do. But what I would say to the honourable member, I hope that she keeps that energy and concern so when the government brings matters, because what the opposition is asking us to do is to intervene inside of these particular matters, when the government brings laws that will allow the Minister of Health to do such, I sincerely hope the opposition will support it.
Thank you. Do you have a supplementary?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Thank the Honorable Premier for his response. What we are actually looking for is for the government to be able to really collaborate and consult with the healthcare providers and the like, so that everybody knows what's coming down the pipeline.
Is it a question for your supplementary
question? My second question, Mr. Speaker, is I'd like to know what plans, if any, does the government have to involve broader community stakeholders in evaluating the merger's impacts on healthcare equity and access?
Mr. Speaker, what I will say is I know that what the Minister of Home Affairs will advance on these particular matters when dealing with unfair competition and things which may cause a distortion in the local market here in Bermuda. I'm sure that there will be full public consultation on those particular matters, and I encourage the Honourable Shadow Minister to participate in that when it comes.
Second sub?
This is a new question, Mr. Speaker.
No.
Oh, sorry. Okay, then it's
a
a second supplementary question.
Okay.
Then, I'd like to know what channels will the government provide that are not already available to avoid people having to go on social media and put all their complaints and things there. What channels where the government...
Is that related to your first question?
It's related to... It's related to my first question as it relates to the merger of BF&M and Argus.
Okay.
And so I would like to know, with the government provide any avenues for public feedback or complaints regarding changes in premiums, coverage, service quality post the merger. So will they provide any formal channels to receive complaints in this regard as it relates to the merger and the impact that it has for Bermudians and their health care?
Yeah.
Mr. Speaker, I will remind the honourable member that the private insurance system and the supplemental insurance system is not currently subject to regulation. I would even recall when matters were brought in so far as minor regulation, they were vociferously opposed by the opposition, and we remember that. And so it is interesting that they now are calling for regulation intervention when they vociferously oppose measures which were brought by the Minister of Health that would make sure to provide the information.
Point of order. My point of order is that we are not calling for... I beg your pardon, Mr. Speaker.
One sec. I don't think the point of order is opinion. Let the Premier finish his question and tidy it, okay? I wouldn't take a point of order at this one. Okay, Premier.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I will do my best to finish answering the question, Mr. Speaker. What I can inform the honourable member in response to the question of which she had asked, there is a healthcare regulator in Bermuda insofar as the Bermuda Health Council, and if persons do have any complaints of which they wish to lodge or to share, they can make them there. Their website is, I will say, the Bermuda Health Council website.
Thank you. Thank you. You find it out? Good. The next member who has a question this morning is MP Campbell. MP Campbell, would you like to put your question?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and thank you in advance, Mr. Premier. The government has recently completed its cost of living summit, and given that the high cost of food is a key factor driving the high cost of living in Bermuda, can the Premier explain why the government has not repealed the sugar tax?
Mr. Speaker, I will repeat the answer which I've given every single time on this particular thing. This government has reduced the sugar tax, but the government believes that the long-term health of the population is important. I understand and recognize that this is an issue that party put forward in the election. I will also recognize the position that we have always stated, and I'll remind the honorable members opposite that the government won the election. We have reduced the sugar tax, but the long-time implications of unhealthy food and eating to escalating health care costs. I hear stealth tax over there. I can assure you, Mr. Speaker, that the amount of money that the government and taxpayers spends on diabetes care in this country far exceeds any amount of revenue that may be raised by the sugar tax. It is important that we take into account the long-term impacts and effects, and I fully support the Minister of Health's continued drive to make sure that we are more well. We are going to do more things which were announced inside of the throne speech, such and so far as tackling matters and banning industrial trans fats. We need to make sure we have a healthier population because that is the only way that we reduce long-term health care costs. And I'll remind the honorable member that if we have taxes throughout the economy, those taxes in many cases and instances are to pay for an expensive healthcare system. And the honorable member would know from his time in cabinet of the significant amount of money in subsidies that goes towards diabetes care. It is important, and it is something that has been shown to reduce the long-term impacts. Is it quick? No. Is it next level, next day? No. Is it the best long-term policy to make sure that we educate and to reduce persons' consumption of things which are unhealthy for them? It is, Mr. Speaker, and I fully support the Minister of Health in this regard.
Do you have a supplementary?
Yes, I have a supplementary. Can the Premier direct us being the public, to read the data supporting that we have seen a favorable impact on our health outcomes as a result of the sugar tax? Where can we find that data?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. There are two omnibus reports that have been released by the Ministry of Health. They can find on the website that has shown a reduction in the consumption of sugary drinks, which is the intended view of such a tax.
Did you say drinks?
Second sub?
You said drinks?
Second sub. Given that people suffering from high blood pressure is pretty prevalent in Bermuda as well, and a key component or a key reason behind that is salt. Does the government intend to also impose a tax on food items that have salt?
No, Mr. Speaker.
Yep. That's your quarter of questions. The next member of questions is MP Swan. MP Swan, would you like to put your question?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, citizens in my constituency are used to the PLP government increasing pensions by the rate of inflation each year. Could the Honorable Premier advise if my constituents in St. George can expect the government to keep that promise again this year?
Yes. Opposition whip. We are paving the roads in St. George's so we can have a smooth drive for that cut back to Somerset. But to I know, Mr. Speaker, you won't. Sorry. Let me get to the answer, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I thank the honourable member for his question. Yes, this government is continuing its promise to increase seniors' pensions by the rate of inflation each year, and will this year implement an increase of 2.3%, which will be seen in payments made to pensioners this September. The honourable member, the Junior Minister of Finance, earlier today tabled the contributory pensions order, and we hopefully will debate that particular matter next week.
Thank you. First sub?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, since the PLP government has returned to office, could the Honorable Premier advise how many times seniors' pensions have been increased and the rate for those increases? Thank you.
Well, Mr. Speaker, allow me to say this, because I can't speak to the number of times, but I think it's also important for us to recognize what this pension increase, which was tabled earlier. Altogether, Mr. Speaker, 15,086 persons receive benefits under the Act, and the proposed 2.3 increase will raise the maximum pension benefit from $1,713 a month to $1,752 a month. Overall, this will mean that maximum pensions will increase by $468 for our seniors this year. That is a maximum, but all pensioners will see an increase depending on their levels of contributions. In regards to pension increases, of which we have implemented, Mr. Speaker, the increase table today, which will be debated next week, is our 7th increase of 2.3%. The cumulative effect of the increases of which we have put into place since coming to office means that maximum pensions for seniors have increased by $3,053 a year since we have returned to office.